Hey guys, welcome to Severe Lack of Talent. I am Nick, and I am joined by two of the absolute worst athletes here
what did you
in
just
2020.
Say?
One of the absolute worst athletes.
Whoa!
I
would crush you in any sport.
I would dare
physically
to say,
as playing it.
I would dare to say that you have a severe lack of talent.
Oh, cut the camera. He's about to get a right hook.
Rumor has it. Rumor has it.
Devil, you can talk all the trash you want, but if you bring the ball into my lane, I'm swatting it down.
Bro, meet me at the courts. We'll
4:30
start
today?
there.
4:30 today?
Yep.
I'll be there.
Well, we're back again. It's just us three. Tim Pohanka is still on vacation. He'll be back next week. We miss you, Tim. I know he's probably
crying,
living his best life right now. But you're sorely missed. We'll see you next week, Tim. But until then, it is the Robbie Perry, Devlin, and Nick Hall show. Okay, so I guess we have a lot of things that we can talk about. But let's go right into the. You want to go right? You want to go? Yeah,
I'll
start. Okay.
Because my scape is, I know I kind of put this out there. It's like a debate. What part of this is the scape? But if anyone's been watching the U.S. Open, Djokovic had an error on one of his plays, and out of anger, which wasn't really, if you watch the video, he wasn't super heated, but he goes and just swats back and he hits the ball and it hits a line woman right in the throat. Okay?
Classic.
So when I'm watching it, I'm like, oh, that wasn't even that hard, but I forget, like, these are professional athletes. It was pretty hard. And so he gets disqualified. That's it for him. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, he could easily win.
Right.
So my
the favorite.
He is.
He was the favorite.
Well, he was the one seed.
So my escape is either the call, is that a deserving disqualification, or him not being able to control and not realizing there are people lined up. I mean, it wasn't just one person in the whole back. They're lined up, so there are people all around him. So I'm kind of on debate, like, what is
it was
it?
Clearly on accident. It clearly was not on purpose. That being said, the rules are the rules. The rules are the rules.
This is cut and dry. Is he a go or escape?
I think he's my escape because of what he did after was she didn't have to go to the hospital. His reaction was not just, he apologized eventually to the public, and that's the athlete. I'd be upset too. Well, it wasn't even that bad.
Yeah.
So
if this was a baseball player who threw his bat in anger and it took a bad hop and smoked an umpire, sorry, you're ejected, fined, and suspended.
Yeah.
Djokovic is the escape.
Yeah.
Djokovic is the escape.
This is an open, okay? This isn't like one of 8 games or how many games are in the...
Yeah.
But this is like his one chance for a while.
So
I get it. He's escaped. He should have controlled it.
And partially escaped. The girl has got to... Though she got hit, her head has got to be a little bit more in a swivel. I mean, it wasn't a rocket.
Yeah.
It wasn't a rocket.
No, it wasn't.
And it was a little bit of a floater, and she was a statue, didn't move, and then it was like a sniper got her.
If an NFL player threw a football after the play because he was mad and smoked a ref in the throat, that guy is ejected, fined, and suspended.
Okay.
It doesn't...
Yeah.
Now,
it's the first time I've ever seen it in tennis, so I was pretty shocked.
I think what is happening is that we want to give him the benefit of the doubt because he is who he is.
Yeah.
And I get that because there's I mean, would be a great argument, but is he the best to play the game? He's one of them.
Oh, for sure.
He's one of the best to ever play the game. And so, and he's never had, I don't think that he has, I wouldn't know, but I don't think he has anger issues or a personality issue that everybody talks about. But, some of the greatest players have always been ejected from games before. Just because, I mean, it's going to happen. It's the heat of sports. He let his emotions take control of him. But like Robbie started off with, the rules are rules. And despite if the judge could have dodged it, which she could have, there's a lot of factors playing into it. But he still smoked a line judge.
Yeah. No,
the rules are the rules.
I was disappointed because I was looking forward to watching
everyone
his
was
game.
disappointed.
So
I think
he's
the
my
U.S.
escape.
Open was very disappointed. They didn't want to do it. They didn't want to do it.
Yeah,
but
what a 2020 way to go out, And so my GOAT this week, and I know we've talked about protesting and athletes using their platform properly, but I like Naomi Osaka. So she is doing well. She's a young athlete, but she has chosen to customize face masks to use the names of victims like Breonna Taylor. And it's reached their families. Their families have reached out and said thank you, and it's been very touching, and it's been a very great moment. And so I feel like she's doing really good. She's playing tomorrow.
In the semifinals, right?
Yes, yeah. So not only is her performance this week amazing, but I think that she used her platform in a way that didn't disrupt the game, and it was classy. And so this week she's my GOAT.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Totally fair.
Yeah.
Totally fair. I think it's great. Last night, another great show by a lot of players. I loved the moment of unity before the NFL game between the Texans and the Chiefs. I thought it was.
It was a little sloppy from a production side, and they said they came out and said, please, they're going to stand with the moment of unity, but the players, clearly something was not communicated right, because they were all like at the field and they were all like, oh, where do I go? What happened? So when I was watching that, and I was like, I bet somebody behind the scenes, something wasn't properly communicated. Either they did the moment of silence too early, or the players didn't get out there early enough, because they were, but when they were lined up, they were still players not able to get lined up in time. You know, when it was over, everyone still wasn't lined up.
Yeah.
So it was some miscommunication on either the NFL's end or the players' end.
And they'll get there.
Yeah.
Because this is going to be a norm this season.
For sure.
But along with what Osaka had done yesterday, I mean, you saw a lot of that in the first NFL game of the season. You saw a lot of it. Breonna Taylor was written on a lot of back of helmets and everything like that. I thought that the pre-game I guess festivities, because I'm not just going to narrow it down to one thing, was really beautifully done. I actually think the only thing they could have done different in the moment of unity, to me, unity is everybody getting together. It was clearly the Texans, arm in arm, standing next to the Chiefs, arm in arm.
Yeah.
To me, unity would be really mixing it up.
Okay.
I'm not saying that it has to go every other, but I mean, it would be cool to see them, somewhat actually being united during the moment of unity. But it was still.
But we still have to worry about COVID, guys.
We'll have to worry about COVID and have to worry about these guys have mentally prepared themselves to
kick
kill
each other's butts. Yeah.
Crap out of
They
each
did
other.
what they could.
Yeah, they did what they could. So
I thought it was really good. It was there was a lot of concern that it was going to become very, very political pregame, and I thought they did their messaging was great, but it was also people that are strictly like, oh, keep politics and protests out of sports. You really didn't have much of a leg to stand on. The Texans didn't even come out. The Chiefs, only one player knelt.
Yep.
That was very surprising to me. I thought every single player on the sideline was going to kneel, and only one player knelt. But the Texans, I think the Texans, and that's what the Miami Dolphins, not coming out for anything. I think, that's a way how you can do your protest, but also not offend anyone. Not offend anyone. That's what college football does.
Yeah, college football. I mean, no college football team is ever out there for the anthem, and that would would solve this issue for the NFL. And who for everybody pointing fingers is just, hey, don't take the field for the anthem for anybody.
Yeah.
But no, I thought they did a good job.
Yeah.
I thought they did a good job.
I'll go into mine. My GOATs. So I will start out with my GOAT of the week. Actually, yes, I'll start with my GOAT. I'll do the GOAT, and it is 2020 sports. Oh. So obviously this year, pretty much March to late June, mid-July, sports was pretty much non-existent. There was a couple-week period where you would turn on ESPN. And there would be absolutely nothing on television. Yeah. If you went to ESPN.com and you go to scores, there was just nothing on there. ESPN was showing reruns from years ago of different sports. So the fact that we're having sports at all is a miracle, but it also shows how, sports was just so quick to adapt with a lot of these things. We've had major tennis tournaments. We've had the U.S. Open. We've had major golf tournaments. We have NHL playoffs, NBA playoffs. I mean, obviously, we've had things like cornhole. But we've had the NFL back. We've had college football back for 2 weeks. We've had the WNBA.
Oh, yeah.
And,
way to go. I appreciate you.
So the fact that, and it's only going to ramp up, especially with the NFL being back, it's still going to be hard. It's going to be hard to finish college football. It's going to be hard to keep this up. And, the NFL is doing a really good job right now. It's going to be a huge challenge to keep on going. But the fact that they're here and they're willing to do it, and the players and the teams and the owners are all willing to adapt, is pretty amazing. Yesterday is the first day, September 10th is the first day in history that the NFL, the MLB, the NBA, the WNBA, the MLS, and NHL all play the same day. So it's pretty awesome.
I think that just means that sports are stronger now than ever.
Yeah.
Or that seasons got delayed. One or the other.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But just like life, sports will find a way to my little Jurassic Park. It's so like bad. Life. It's so sports find a way.
Did you see it?
No.
It's like
Can we put that back Photoshop up there?
What is it?
Oh, that's the.
Sports,
wow.
Find a way.
Wow.
By the way, I think more importantly, they did announce a third installment of Chris Pratt's Jurassic World to be coming out next year.
I know.
So that good time.
Calm down, boys.
I love dinosaurs.
I can tell.
The check cleared. That's why we put that in there. So my scapegoat is Skip Bayless. And Skip Bayless went on yesterday, which was also Suicide Prevention Day. It's not exactly called Suicide Prevention Day. I don't know what it was called, but it was basically like checking up on mental health, checking up on your people. Well, Skip Bayless on Undisputed with Shannon Sharp. He has a TV show on Fox Sports, and Skip Bayless is very popular for his hot takes. But he basically came out and said that he doesn't feel bad for Dak, saying he was depressed. Dak Prescott, the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys, came out and he said that he slipped into depression, during quarantine, and it was after his brother committed suicide.
Oh gosh.
And so it's 2020. It's time that we take mental health seriously, but also mainly men's mental health seriously. So what what Skip Bayless says, I have deep compassion for clinical depression, but when it comes to the quarterback of an NFL team, you know this better than I do. It's the ultimate leadership position in sports. Am I right about that? You're commanding an entire franchise, and they're all looking for you to be their CEO, to be in charge of the football team. Because of all that, I don't have sympathy for him going public with, I got depressed, and I suffered depression early in COVID to the point that I couldn't go work out. Look, he's the quarterback of America's team. So Prescott opened up that he was emotionally drained, that he had thoughts in his brain that he's never had before. And if anything, I think quite the opposite of what Skip Bayless said. He came out and he said that it's kind of a sign of weakness. It's 2020. A man coming out and saying that he's struggling with depression and being vulnerable is something that should be celebrated, and it's a sign of strength. Like, hey guys, I've been through this.
Yeah.
I know how to lead you and guide you. If you were going through this, come talk to me.
Yeah.
And it's something no one likes talking about it, but especially suicide rates in men in America. Men are 3.5 times more likely to commit suicide than women in America. The rate of suicide is the highest in middle-aged white men, and white males account for 70% of the suicide deaths in America. Wow. And it is the 10th leading cause of death. So in the U.S. in 2018. So the fact that Skip Bayless came out and he just basically brushed aside this whole thing because he's the quarterback and he's got to be a man. He's got to be. I'm very against cancel culture, but either Skip Bayless needs to basically get his life and priorities short, or I would have no problem with them firing him. And I was always a big Skip Bayless guy, but this is something that is inexcusable.
Yeah.
Inexcusable. What are you doing?
Yeah.
How dare you?
Yeah.
For me, for for this, Skip Bayless, has made his career on ridiculous hot takes. It's what he does. He gets on air and he says things that I would imagine some of his opinions he doesn't even agree with. He's just saying it for clicks. He's saying it for views. Yeah. He's saying it to be the persona that he is. But with that in mind, Skip Bayless, shame on you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shame on you.
Yeah.
I actually really respect the take that he comes up with, these ridiculous takes, and he's educated enough to be able to defend anything that he says, and that sometimes is why he's so fun.
Oh, and I was people hate Skip, but I always liked Skip.
I always like this.
He knows how to argue, in a good way.
Changed my personification of him.
100%.
Talk about being tone deaf in a time where mental health is harder on everybody in America than ever, going through the COVID crisis, the amount of life that's being lost throughout our country. It's unfathomable.
Shocking.
And Robbie, I almost do agree. At this point, Skip Bayless is a face of Fox. He's a face of Fox, and that right now is representing your brand, and they should be looking into that further.
Has he come back out with a statement?
He hasn't said anything. Fox Sports has, saying we strongly condemn him. Mental health is very serious, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. But he hasn't said anything.
It's and also
he has a show today, so it'll be interesting.
One last point to make on that if you think for a second that being in a position of leadership or money makes it to where you should be immune to mental health issues or depression, the guy lost his brother. Talking about Dak Prescott now. The guy lost his brother to suicide.
Exactly.
There are more, when you go through something like that, there is more to it than just a loss. The thoughts of, and we don't have to go too far into it, I promise I'll stop, but the thoughts of, could I have done more to save him, crept into Dak Prescott's mind. And that is unavoidable, regardless of how much money you have and what position you have on a dang football team. I think that we have said this at least once per podcast since we've been doing this. These are people. These are people playing this game. These are humans, and they deserve to have emotions. They deserve to be able to share, like Osaka, be able to share what they believe in. But they also have the right to hurt when their own family is hurting.
Yeah.
I will have trouble getting over this as far as ever respecting Skip Bayless and anything that he does again.
It's unfathomable.
Shame on you, Skip Bayless. Shame on you.
It just shows that they're, the one good part. Always when something like this, happens and it's very negative, there's always one good part, is that it just shows that a lot of people, especially a lot of men, they don't get it. They don't get it yet, you know. So it's just a lot more of education has to go.
But I'm going to throw just a sprinkle of rainbow and sunshine at the end of this, though. I think we're getting there.
No, for sure.
For sure. 10 years ago, would you ever hear a quarterback come out and say, "Hey, I've struggled with depression. I'm here for you guys"?
Yeah.
There's
I had suicidal thoughts.
There's no way. Chance that would come out, because all of America had this warped sense of mental health that clearly Skip Bayless also has.
Yeah.
So I think that there's significant strides being made, which is great.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with that.
All right, cool. Moving on. I'm going to go with my scape first. Guys, I really mean this. I said this to you guys. I think this might be the scape of the year. I'm going to challenge the rest of severe lack of talent. And all of our viewers out there, please come up with a better scape without using COVID or without using 2020 as the answer, because obviously you're going to win.
Obviously.
But as far as an individual sports story, we're going to track down to Mississippi, the Ole Miss Rebels. Oh, it's so great. It's
so
the best. It's the best. This is the best news story. This might be the best news story in sports, not just scape or goat, but it's a scape, but the best. Yeah. So Ole Miss has done a campaign, which is an honorable campaign. It is the the Ole Miss Heroes. We put a cup up on the screen. This cup actually is what they are rolling out with that you can get at football games, sporting events, that kind of stuff. You know how they always got a decorative cup. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, right.
Well, what they've done for the Ole Miss Heroes is they've dived in on healthcare medical professionals. Great idea. I'm all for that.
Oh, yeah.
Wonderful idea.
Yeah.
Think about how, just before we get into it, think about how easy it would be to go to your local hospital and get all the nurses and doctors and put them on a cup. That would be pretty easy, right?
Right.
Well, the geniuses that are Ole Miss, I mean, the finest of the SEC, but I add, the geniuses that are Ole Miss obviously must have just Googled attractive doctors. Because as you look on the top row of this cup, Shanna, I don't know if we have the other photos of this. Yes, here we go. You will see on the top row a very attractive doctor. But when you look further into it, this is Johnny Sins. Johnny Sins is a porn star. They have put a porn star on their cup who is obviously, but he's wearing a lab coat, right?
Yeah.
But it was obviously for a role. As
obviously out of a scene.
He's not even attractive. I'm sorry. You don't think he's attractive.
That's fine. That's fine if he's not attractive. But Johnny Sins has made his way onto Ole Miss's Heroes. A porn star made it onto the Heroes of Ole Miss.
2020.
And nothing could be more. No, you know what?
Have
Nothing
you
could be
seen
more
it
Ole
though?
Miss.
Yeah.
Maybe he is a hero. Have you seen it?
I'm sure he saved somebody, but something. But so Ole Miss, you get my scape of the week, and I will in December we will be doing what we will be calling the Goaties.
Oh, you think you got it for this one?
Oh, I think Ole Miss has got to be up there. They're going to be. It's a tough act to follow. I did not see if they're going to still be using these cups. If they are,
I mean,
I want one.
Ole Miss, I want one so bad. Please send one in to the severe lack of talent team. We will display it on the table.
Yeah.
That I can promise you. We are all about this news story. I think it's, you know what, regardless of the news story, I hope they're not using the cups. But even if they are, a great news story nonetheless. You gave us something to talk about, so we appreciate that. I mean, guys, any follow up about that story?
He actually. This is the second time it's happened to him because one.
Really, Robbie? Do you have something to tell us?
No, this was a couple months ago. He got on for one of his military roles. He thought to support our troops. They used him. They used him for one of it. It was like support our military. I gotta go.
You know what?
You
No,
Googled his name?
we have not invited anybody. We have not invited anybody.
Robbie, how did you come across this?
Oh, what? He's Johnny Sins, superstar.
The goat.
Yeah.
So we've gone through this. Paige Honaker has commented in and says Johnny Sins is definitely somebody's hero. Guys, if you're watching right now, hit us with a like. Hit us with a like and comment and tag Johnny Sins. So, guys, if we haven't invited anybody onto the show quite yet, so our first invitation of this week, Johnny Sins. Johnny Sins, you were invited onto the show. Wear your military garb or your doctor garb or your Ole Miss jersey. We want to have you out here. That does bring me to my goat of the week.
I'm stoked because we talked about him last week, and I'm glad to.
Yeah, we talked about him not in a goat or scape last week.
No.
So I'm glad he's made it onto our goat.
Yes.
Adrian Peterson. Adrian Peterson recently, in my opinion, shockingly, cut from the Washington football team. Has found a new home. The fifth all-time leading rusher in the NFL took just a matter of days to be able to be given multiple offers and a lot of interest throughout the league, which is exactly what we thought would happen.
Yeah.
And he has found a home with the Detroit Lions.
What did they offer him? Do you know?
I have not seen that.
I don't know.
I don't know that.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
know that. But one cool thing about it that makes me excited for Adrian Peterson for football, because I think Adrian Peterson is just the best, is that Darrell Bevel, the Lions offensive coordinator, played a huge role in his decision-making process because Darrell Bevel is actually the same offensive coordinator that was for the Minnesota Vikings during Adrian Peterson's heyday from about 2007 to 2010 when he was just dropping stacks and numbers out there. So I can't say that 2007 and 2010 Adrian Peterson is the same Adrian Peterson as today. That was a different beast in itself.
Yeah.
But if there's one thing that we can know is that offense is going to know how to use Adrian Peterson.
Yeah.
And so that makes me excited. So I'm giving Adrian Peterson my GOAT of the week. I have obviously voiced this, and I want to play a little game with you guys. I have voiced this, that I definitely think Adrian Peterson has gas left in the tank.
I agree.
I think that he is not washed up. I think that Adrian Peterson has 2, 3, 4 good years left, and he can push that 5th all-time leading rusher into probably the top 2 spots. I don't know if he can get all the way to 1, but he can possibly push those top 2 spots. I got all the faith in Adrian Peterson, but I've came up with a list of names, and this is going to be like, Nick is doing a little too much here, because I've come up with a list of names that I want to know from you guys. Washed up at the end of their career, or they still got gas left in the tank?
Are we talking about current? Like in the NFL?
In the NFL and current.
Okay.
They are playing right now.
Okay.
They are playing right now. So, in my opinion, every single one of these, the reason this might be controversial, every single one of these are Hall of Famers except for one, and you'll know which one I'm talking about.
Of course, okay.
But it's, hey, they face injuries, they're old, can they do it again?
Can we not say
this
washed
season?
up, but maybe just done?
Done.
Because I'll feel too guilty calling them
put the-
washed. Okay.
Yeah,
The done
washed up is not
stamp.
very.
The stamp
All
of
of these,
done.
all
The
of
stamp
these
of
guys
done.
are leaving legacies.
Okay.
I'm going to start with the one that's probably not, but I want to know from your guys' perspective, can they still do it again this year? Deshaun Jackson with the Eagles, and he has been
Done stamp.
I'm gonna
Done.
say still has gas in the tank, because I had to watch my sister and my brother-in-law are obsessed with the Eagles, so I do watch. Unless we play, we're in separate houses when we don't. So I like him, and I definitely think he has at least a good year or two. So you're saying done? Why?
He's injuries.
His is going to be
Injuries.
injury related, because here's the thing: he hasn't played quality time in 2 years.
Yeah.
But
He hasn't played quality time in 2 years.
But maybe the break and the slowing down of COVID has done him good.
Well, now the NFL.
He'll pull a hammy within 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Or
Do you want
groin.
to place a friendly bet on that?
No. Because I like him, so I don't want to be actively rooting
See,
against him.
I think Deshaun Jackson. I think he has another good year. I think he has another good year.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's this year. I don't know if it's next year. But I think that there's one more year where he's a top 10 receiver.
My concern with him, if he's going to be still good, is that his injuries have not been freak injuries.
Nope.
They were all soft tissue, groin,
Lingering.
hamstring.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't know if you can, with age, I don't know if you can overcome that.
Yeah. No, I
like him though. Cheering for him.
Got one with a new team, and some age affecting him. So we'll see. Philip Rivers now with the Colts.
Still got it.
I still got it. I'm with
still
you.
got it.
I don't know much about him, so I'll say he still has it.
Okay, and the reason I say still got it is because
They were really good 2 years ago.
dude, the shining light last year on the Chargers was Philip Rivers. End quote.
Yeah.
That's all they had.
His
Especially
problem,
after Melvin Gordon held out.
Yeah.
Philip Rivers was all they had.
His problem last year, and I think this is why he got a bad rap, and I get it, is that he had an opportunity almost every loss to win the game at the end. He had the ball in his hands, drive down the field, tie, field goal, tie to win the game or win the game, and every time he came up short.
I think that without Philip Rivers, just to show that his impact with that team, I think that Indianapolis Colts, I think they have a pretty good year. I think that they win the division.
I was about to say,
I think they win the division. I think
Yep.
that the Titans are overhyped in a big way.
Yep.
I think that they win the division.
Clearly the Texans,
Clearly the Texans didn't look good, but they also played
the best team in the
a
league.
team that looks
Yes.
pretty bulletproof.
Yes. But I agree with the Colts. I would put my money in the Colts.
I think that the Chargers will be one of the worst teams in the
Top
NFL.
three.
Top
Yeah.
3 worst teams in the NFL. And I think that you see, they definitely were not that last year, but just the removal of Philip Rivers, I think he'll show it. So I think Philip Rivers still got some left. Next one is going to hurt my soul because of the stance I'm going to take. Hall of Famer, no doubt, J.J. Watt, for the Texans.
Oh, I love J.J. Watt. I see my son being a mini J.J. Watt.
You got to say it, Robbie. You got to say it. I think J.J. Watt is done.
How old is he now?
His is I don't know. I mean, he's 30 somewhere.
But he's 33.
But his problem is consecutive back injuries.
Weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think J.J. Watt.
31.
One of my.
I give him at least. I give him another shot. I'm not going to say done yet.
He looked really good yesterday.
He did.
But I remember. I mean, the last 2 years he tore his pec last year, but he's had back injuries. I mean, as back injuries for a big dude. What is he? 6'6", 6'7"? I mean, you
can't get over it.
That takes at least 2-3 years off of your career. So, I would say he's still got it, but he's close to done.
My fork's in him.
You already the whole stamp right in the forehead.
I think J.J. Watt, 100% Hall of Famer. I take nothing away from his legacy. I just don't think he has
first ballot.
But you don't. You also think he has this season left, or you're saying he's going to have a really crappy season.
When I think we're doing this, I'm talking about
after this year.
Huge impact. No, this year as well, but huge impact players. He's gonna have an impact. He's gonna be one of the better defensive players on the team.
Right.
He's not anywhere near where he was.
He's not up near to JJ.
Yeah. Guys, if you guys are watching right now, would you do us a favor? Hit us with a like, real quick. Hit us with a share if you're feeling it. But most importantly, I would really love to see who do you guys think is or is not a little washed up, a little done, that might be a Hall of Famer that's playing in the league right now in the NFL. We got some football finally back last night, so hit us up with that. What do you guys think? We'd love to hear from you guys in the chat right now. Next one. This is a fun conversation. I know my answer on him. Going down to Green Bay, Jimmy Graham.
Done.
Yeah, done.
Done. Okay.
Done.
Cool.
Yeah.
Forking him.
Done for 3-4 years.
Okay.
Done.
All right.
What about Greg Olsen?
That's another
tight
good one.
end for the Seahawks. Is he done? He's had foot injuries, back injuries.
I think a healthy Russell Wilson revitalizes him.
Yeah, same.
I think Russell Wilson.
Really?
I do.
He's got 1 year.
I do. Well, think about Greg Olsen didn't experience problems until he lost his Cam Newton.
Yep.
He had problems for 2 years, became a little irrelevant. Back with a Cam Newton-esque type quarterback in Russell Wilson. And by that's very much a compliment. Might add.
Yeah.
I'm saying that as a compliment.
Yeah.
I think it revitalizes Jimmy Graham.
I got a really good one from Drew Nickerson. Von Miller.
Oh.
Because he not like what it wasn't his Achilles, but something happened. I mean, Von Miller, Hall of Famer, but I don't think Von Miller will ever be Von Miller again.
Is he still with the Broncos?
Yeah, but he last practice, which was Wednesday or Tuesday or Wednesday, he was leaving off the field and he's out for the year. He
Von Miller's out for the year this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a freak injury, like something popped, something tore.
Can't keep doing that.
And he's old. He's a little bit older.
Rough.
Yeah,
it's rough. He's another. What sucks about having this conversation is these are all guys I love.
Yeah, it's
all
difficult.
all of them. Next one. Speaking of another, I'm a homer for this guy, and I think that he is going to kill it. But he took a year off of football. Jason Witten with the Raiders.
Oh, wait.
No, he played last year.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, he played last year.
What was the saying that people did?
He played for the Cowboys last year.
Yeah.
And he had a pretty good year. He was okay.
I put all of my stamps of done on Jason Witten.
Really?
Yes. The done chain, the done stamp, the done whatever. I like Jason Witten, but the dude.
The done trash can.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Butch Jones.
Yes. Throw him in the done trash can. I just think he's a statue out there running right now.
Really?
Yeah. He was also awful on Monday Night Football 2 years ago.
You thought he was bad?
We all have bad moments. You gotta let it go.
There's a reason that he was like, I gotta get back in the NFL.
I loved him on Monday Night Football. I love Tony Romo on Monday Night Football too.
Really? I don't know if I really like.
Oh goodness! Sign me up for Tony Romo. All 200 games of the NFL every year.
Yeah, Tony Romo. Okay. Tony Romo on TV is my favorite. My only problem, he sometimes gets a little excited.
Yeah.
It's like a 2-yard run. He's like, oh! Okay, Tony, take it easy.
Good times. All right, let's go with another one. Speaking of a homer, Robbie, can Frank Gore keep doing it? Buffalo.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. Frank Gore will be 47 years old and still churning out 500 yards. Frank Gore is just, he doesn't get hurt anymore. He just keeps on going. And he just a great guy in the locker room. He's never feature back. No.
He hasn't been a feature back since the 49ers 12 years ago.
Yeah. It's not a crazy exaggeration. It really.
I think it was 2008 was when he was with the 49ers.
He had his last good year was right before he went to the Colts, but that was 6 years ago.
Yeah.
7 years
ago.
I
mean, I agree.
Yeah.
And the reason that I agree, I wanted to put him on this list for obvious reasons. He's with Buffalo, so I figured you'd get excited.
Not anymore. He's with the Jets.
Really?
He was with he was with the 49ers, then with the Colts, then with the Dolphins, then with the Bills, then with the Jets, and then next year he's going to have to be with the Patriots and complete his AFC East
I didn't
tour.
realize that he's
just signing 1 year deals now. But
good for him.
Reports have come out of Jets camp that he had looked better than Le'Veon Bell.
Not surprising.
Not at all.
Not surprising. Not surprising. All right, cool. I got two more. The last one's going to hurt us all. But this next one is easier for me. Ben Roethlisberger, obviously with Pittsburgh.
I'm going to say done on that guy.
I'm done as well. I'm done with Ben Roethlisberger as well.
I hope he's not. He's in one of my leagues. So
every year he's getting hurt. Every year. I mean, 3-4 years in a row at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, he had the huge year 3 or 4 years ago. So one of those years I'm wrong
sucked.
with. Oh, he would play 2 games last year.
3 years ago was his big year. 2 years ago they missed the playoffs. He had a good year, but they weren't a good team. And then last year, he tore his shoulder 2 games in.
He's not able to overcome these injuries. He may have another good season, but he'll play 3, 4, 5 more years, and maybe one of those years will be considered. Hey, it was a good year. If you're drafted on fantasy, guys, pick up Ben Roethlisberger for week 1. Pick up Ben Roethlisberger for your first 3-4 weeks of the season. But as soon as that Q comes up next to Ben Roethlisberger, drop him. He's done.
Every year, Ben Roethlisberger gets just beat up. He's always in a walking boots or some kind of sling.
Yep.
And I think it's only going to get worse.
Yeah.
Obviously, he tore his shoulder. So,
last one, and I apologize for everybody watching right now. Hit us with a like if you would hate to have this conversation. Is Larry Fitzgerald done in the NFL? Does he have gas left in the tank to be a wideout one for the Arizona Cardinals not anymore, but does he have enough gas left in the tank to complement now Hopkins with Kyler Murray down in Arizona?
To complement, yes. To be Larry, no. That has been gone for 3 years. But slot, I mean, heck yeah. I'll take him as a slot for sure. So, to answer your question, half done.
I would say this season and next year.
God, he's going to be like 40.
Yeah, I don't think Larry. I think them acquiring Hopkins was also them coming to the realization that
we need
a number one, and Larry is no longer that. Mm-hmm. I would say shame on the Cardinals if they let Larry Fitzgerald ever go to anywhere else.
No, he won't.
I don't think he will.
No,
I don't think he will. But Larry, out of the slot, he's probably better than half the league slot receivers, but he's no Larry Fitzgerald.
I mean,
Larry Fitzgerald, He
was on my team last
Man, he's one of my favorite football players.
He's just one of my favorite all-around human beings. I mean, Larry Fitzgerald is he's one of the good guys, one of the good ones.
Yeah.
So as long as he wants to play, the Cardinals, you better find a spot for him. But I think Larry knows this is his last year.
You think this is it?
Okay.
You think this is it?
Because the last 2 years, he said he would contemplate and then come back. You forgot the biggest one. Tom Brady.
Of course, he's still got some left.
I feel like he's not going to be done. He's going to be like another 5-10 years. Realistically, I'm being dramatic, but it just.
Oh my God, he's going to be in his 50s.
No, but what I'm saying is, he just keeps going.
He looks like he's in unreal shape, but he was not good last year. Their team should have been way better than it was.
Okay,
the number one special teams and the number one defense.
You're using him against himself. He was probably good compared.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. A starting quarterback, he's still got
Yeah.
it. But is he going to be Tom Brady?
Whoa, what's happening?
Against himself, he's the same quarterback he's always been.
I mean, but
Their team wasn't as good last year, so they didn't win a Super Bowl. Tom Brady's always been that slightly above average quarterback surrounded by the greatest coach of all
you can't
time.
keep winning the Super Bowl and then not win and expect someone to say you didn't have a good year.
Well, he doesn't have great years. He's had one or two. He has had one or two great years.
So Tom Brady or Peyton Manning?
Peyton Manning every single day.
Oh, I love Peyton Manning.
Peyton
Don't
Manning.
even touch it. That's my
if
man.
you gave Peyton Manning Tom Brady's coach, no defense to Tony Dungy, huge Tony Dungy fan, but if you put Peyton Manning on that same team with Tom Brady, not as Tom Brady, but the same team that Tom Brady had, and he had the Belichick way, he had all of the intangibles that came with being a Patriot over the last 2 decades.
But he didn't have, besides Randy, his
Peyton,
3 years with Randy and Gronk, he didn't have any weapons.
It's not about weapons, it's the system. Imagine Tom Brady has holes for days. This is why I love Tony Romo. You watched Tony Romo last year break down a Patriots game, and this is what they do, and this is why they're going to beat you. None of it had anything to. Never once did he say, because Tom Brady is so good, he's going to audible. No,
we're going to find out. All of our questions are going to be because we knew how valuable Peyton Manning was. You know, when he got hurt his last year in the his last year
went from a playoff team to a one-win team.
He should have gotten the MVP that year.
Yes.
He should have at least gotten MVP votes, considering how bad the Colts were. Just like when LeBron James, whenever he leaves a team.
It shows that Peyton Manning was the most valuable player because without him, you went from a 14-win team to a 1-win team. He makes that kind of difference.
Now,
Tom Brady does not make that difference.
We will see. What if Cam goes up there and is awful, and the Buccaneers win 13 games?
Yeah, but if Cam is bad, it's because he doesn't have any weapons.
Oh, God. That was a fun game, though. Talking about really cool people, can we move on to Jimmy Butler? I've been sitting here just waiting
yes,
to talk about
absolutely.
him.
Let's full dive into Jimmy Butler. I have 1 to 2 other stories to mention.
Oh, my God.
Oh, no, the last 2 are fun, I think. But go. No, let's go
Jimmy B.
I want to talk to Jimmy B.
I didn't know a lot about him. I just know I love the way he plays. I love watching him. I love him off the court, but I didn't know him prior to the NBA.
I think he's annoying off the court, personally.
Really? I enjoy him. I'm probably annoyed.
So explain. I don't actually have any idea what his backstory. I know about him as a player, but
a story broke this week that he probably it could have been told back when he really made it big, but he didn't want people to feel bad for him. He didn't want people to look at him any differently. But when he was a teenager, he was kicked out of his house, and he had a very rough upbringing, which a lot of professional athletes have. And the one thing that they did have was sports. But he, was a homeless teenager and was taken in by his best friend's mom and family. And he just, from what I was reading, just was a fighter and never gave up and got back on the right path. And then, did really well in high school and eventually landed in the NBA. So I just feel like
he's that's why he explains a little bit of his edge against him. So, I don't want to name any names or teams, but I have a good friend that he works in the basketball ops side in the NBA. And he said Jimmy Butler, he was great on the team, great teammate, but he said that if he had a bad day, he was ticked off about something.
Right.
He said working in the facility, it was like, and this is the metaphor he used. He's like, when you see a huge storm coming off in the distance and there's nothing you can do about it, it's going to hit you. That's what a bad day with Jimmy Butler would be. So that he would come in and just be like a pain in the butt in practice, and it works because sometimes it elevates the intensity in the practice. But he's like, if Jimmy Butler was having a bad day, every single person in the complex was having a bad day.
Well, so he didn't know his father growing up, so he didn't have that dynamic of having, I think it helps having a household that can give 2 different perspectives,
Right.
So at 13, his mom says, "I don't like the looks of you. You gotta go."
That's
At 13,
so sad, man.
but those were the words, and he really credits the loving family and the generosity and the compassion that the family that took him in. He credits that to how he got to the NBA.
Nice.
Yeah.
And he's probably using that edge against.
He's
his
never been
family.
a victim either. You know,
One thing about Jimmy Butler that everybody kind of agrees on is that there's very few players that have the work ethic and intensity as Jimmy Butler. And everybody talks about that. And honestly, somebody who shared that quality is a Michael Jordan.
And Kobe Bryant.
And Kobe Bryant, and people say LeBron. Actually, not even LeBron
No,
James.
LeBron's that's the
LeBron
knock on LeBron.
Is that that the intensity is not quite there.
Yeah.
Work ethic is there.
The work ethic
is stupidly there.
Yeah.
But the Kobe and Michael Jordan intensity factor is shared by Jimmy Butler. But here's the one thing when I said I get annoyed by Jimmy Butler at times. This last offseason, maybe it was the offseason before, I don't exactly remember, but when things don't go his way, there are certain places that you shouldn't be venting that intensity to, and the media is one of them.
Yes. Yeah.
He was I never really respect somebody who is outwardly demanding a trade.
Yeah.
If you are outwardly saying we're not trying, we can do better, that's one thing. But demanding a trade is quitting on your guys.
Yeah.
And so that did happen this past year. So so that when I say annoying, I think that's more where it's coming from. But I do want to put this out. He's one of the best players in the league.
Oh, I love watching him play.
He has a work ethic rivaled by very few in the league, and an intensity right now possibly number one in the league. So I mean, there are some huge positives to Jimmy Butler that I respect the heck out of. But I have that one little.
I agree with you. I think that kind of going back when he has a bad day, like it's like, hey, he gets too emotional, but from an intensity level and the ability when things go right and he gets with the right guys to pick everyone up, I don't think it's even close right now.
Right.
Back in the day, you had Kobe, you obviously had Michael Jordan, and I respect it because Michael Jordan on the Last Dance documentary, he said, I always got a bad rap for how intense I was and how aggressive I was. But he says, my number one thing is I want to win.
Right.
And I want you to share that winning mentality, that passion with me. And if you don't, and you don't want to play like that, then that's your fault. That's not on me, And it's a great moment, if you guys haven't seen The Last Dance, when he starts tearing up. He says, if you don't want that, then if you don't want to play the game like that, then that's on you, not on me. And then he starts tearing up, and he says, I can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's where, Kobe came from. Kobe, his last year when he was not even that good anymore, and he went into practice and started swearing at his teammates, saying, y'all don't do blank for me. You guys are trash, blah, 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 stormed off the court. Jimmy Butler has that kind of same
He's
thing.
tenacious, but in like a calm way, and it's weird to put those two together, but that's the best way that I like to describe him,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Why we are talking about this, LeBron James, he drives me a little bit crazy because I wish he was more intense and had that, mentality. But he's on year 17 in the NBA.
Yeah.
And he is a beast still.
That's crazy.
Year 17 in the NBA. I mean, it would be one thing, year 21 or, for Tom Brady, but year 17 in the NBA as a 6'8" guy who's big and who's always, who's played so many games in the playoffs, so many minutes, and he's constantly, on his joints. I mean, he is hate him, love him, just relish the fact that we're still watching one of the greatest athletes, period, ever.
For sure.
Got a great comment, as we do every week, about your hair from a Matthew Sutherland. Says that, look at that flow.
Can
Robert
you just
Perry.
do a flip or something?
Oh,
there
it's
you
everything
go.
we needed. It's everything we needed.
Whoa. Johnny
Now,
who?
What I will say, Matthew Sutherland, shout out to you, but if you did want to see it, you could have seen it on Wednesday, but you decided not to.
Is that you? Okay.
Matthew Sutherland was the loser in a fantasy football league, and he has to hang up a deer butt.
We have a taxidermized deer butt.
Men are so complex. Like, so he's doing a deer butt on his wall.
Yep.
Oh, it's in his family room. In
Is
his
he
main living
married?
room. He is engaged and living with his fiance.
How does she feel about this?
That's the best part. I don't care.
Oh, wow. That's fantastic.
So shout out to you, Matt Sutherland. Love it. Guys, the next subject of the week, which might actually be, in my opinion, the biggest news story of the week, Ohio State. I think we have to. I have to go to Ohio State. Ryan Day, coach of the Ohio State Buckeyes, straight out calling out the Big Ten. They want answers, and honestly, Nebraska says something that's cute.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Iowa says something that's cute. Penn State says something. It's like, oh, Penn State's saying something. Mm-hmm. Ohio State says something, and look, now the Big Ten's got to answer because it's Ohio State.
Right.
That's your conference. Your conference revolves around Ohio State, whether the rest of the Big Ten likes to admit it or not. Michigan, John Harbaugh, shut up. Ohio State runs that conference.
Okay.
And
how he
got to
did
answer.
How he did it was great. He didn't attack. He didn't, be aggressive. He just said, my players are looking at other leagues playing, and we don't have an answer. We want to play, and we just want to know, why can't we play?
Didn't he hint a little that they would be playing mid-October?
Yes,
there is, and there's a lot of movement, but the problem is Michigan, not the school, but the state governor is basically being a big downer about allowing any kind of sports right now.
Okay.
So
Well, you know what? You can have a league without a couple teams.
Yeah.
The SEC made a new schedule. The ACC made a new schedule because they did that. The Big 12 had to do it, even though they're still playing out of conference, which is kind of surprising. But Big 12 was playing out of conference, but they still had to make a new schedule. They played ACC and SEC schools and Big 10 schools and Pac-12 schools. So, the way Ryan Day worded it was very classy, but at the same time, kind of put the ball in the court. Is like, hey, just tell us what to tell our players.
Yeah.
Because I don't have anything.
And that's the big thing that I've been clamoring about from day one. It's not that we're canceling. If the NFL 5 weeks from now, every single team has 25 positive tests and they need to postpone or cancel, at least they freaking try.
Make a decision, right?
At least they try.
They put that effort.
You ask so much from these players. If they are willing and they are properly educated on the risks, and a lot of them are going to say, well, I have way more risk playing the game of football than, especially the college and the pro level, every play, someone could die or get seriously hurt. High school, I get it. Hey, some of these are 15-year-old boys, but especially when you're seeing it working and they're not being transparent, why did they cancel it? And the funniest thing about this whole thing is that nobody cares about the Pac-12. Nobody, because they've canceled. No one's like, save Pac-12. It's like, whatever. They forget about it. But Big Ten, we need to save you.
Yeah.
I want Ohio State. I don't care about UCLA.
No, that's the funny. Even the president was like, we need to fix Big Ten football. But they didn't ever bring up Pac-12.
So great.
I don't know if it's gonna work. But I just it bothered me, and it just reeked of something corruption. I don't know why though. But something behind the scenes happened, and they are not being transparent. And finally, people with the voices are speaking up
now.
They're speaking up.
Speaking up now, and that's great.
You got give us your esports.
Okay, it's time.
God.
It's time.
He was looking for the approval.
I was like, am I good to go? Am I good to go?
Okay.
Because I got it, guys. I got updates this week. So I have two big updates. It is time for the Peg Leg esports update. Follow me on Facebook at Peg Leg Gaming or Twitch Peg
Can I ask you
Leg
something?
_gaming. Please.
What does
hit me
that
with it.
mean? Why peg leg?
Peg Leg. The group that we're with actually, our main game is called Sea of Thieves. It's a pirate game, and so it's just a fun name.
So,
fun way to
peg
play.
leg.
No, I know why,
Like
but
a pirate.
I was wondering, like,
He only has one leg.
yeah, he doesn't have a peg. I was disappointed.
I mean,
Well, I'm not disappointed for Nick that he has both legs.
for the brand. So here comes our Peg Leg
Okay.
esports update. We got two big pieces of news to give you guys this week. One is actually both are pretty big. The first thing is that a little bit more broad in the gaming community. Microsoft has come out with the pricing for the new series of Xbox called the Xbox Series S and the Xbox Series X. It is the new generation of consoles. Sony will also be coming out with one for on the PlayStation side that will also be coming out soon. Sony has not mentioned their price yet, and there's been this big tiff between both Microsoft and Sony, like, you go first, no, you go first, no, you go first, no, you go first. I will say, I hope Sony knew what Xbox was going to do beforehand. If not, Sony might be in trouble. I'm excited.
I think
rumors.
I think it's going to be $100. I don't $299.
So here's the thing.
It's cheap.
So, all of the rumors have been the last console came out at $500. The rumors are probably going to be, the rumors were everybody expects $700 or $800 to start saving now. They came out the other day with the pricing, saying that they are going to be doing 2 tiers of Xbox called the Series S, Series X. One just has a little bit the capabilities that are a little bit more storage, more visuals.
It looks like a boombox.
It looks, it's a sleek look.
What's the price of it?
$299
Really?
for the Series S, and the more expensive Series X is $499. And they've also came up with a 24-month financing plan for those who can't afford it at zero interest.
That's awesome.
And it will include your online membership, which is currently charging. So you can get the Series X, which is the new Xbox that's coming out, for $35 a month for 2 years. And it includes the $15 subscription to the Xbox Live services and the Game Pass, which would include hundreds and hundreds of free games with Xbox as well. They have shocked the gaming community in how affordable it is.
Yeah.
And so that's when I say, if PlayStation wasn't expecting that $299 and $499 price point, and they were maybe leading those rumors that they're going to come out with a platform that's $700 or $800, they have to be scrambling over these last few days.
When is this coming out?
November 10th.
I can almost guarantee you it has something to do with the pandemic because people are struggling financially.
Yeah.
They haven't approved the second stimulus. People have lost jobs, have taken pay reductions. How could they come out with they would look like a-holes. So I feel like they did something that, I mean, this is something almost everybody could afford.
Yeah, definitely. I think you're right.
And people are at home.
I think you're right.
They'll buy it. Yeah. I might buy one, and I don't game that much.
For
$2.99?
Yeah.
And $2.99 with financing. So you're looking at, I don't even know, math.
For you said 24 months? Like, that's less than $50 a month.
Yeah. I mean, like the cheaper of the two, you're probably looking at $25, and I think that the more expensive one, which naturally, $35 a month. $35 a month coming with Game Pass, coming with big news in the gaming community for that. The other big news, more along esports rather than just gaming community, Ninja, who is the #1 overall streamer out there.
Ninja.
We talked about Dr. Disrespect.
Yeah.
Huge respect for Dr. Disrespect. But he'll even tell you he considers himself #2 behind Ninja. Everybody recognizes Ninja. Ninja's the Michael Jordan of esports. He's the biggest.
Ninja's huge.
Making his full-time streaming return to Twitch. He was the big acquisition by Mixer when Mixer started getting aggressive with the market in 2019. They acquired an exclusive contract with Ninja, and then ironically, overnight at one point just folded.
Yeah, it was
very strange. And they were killing it, and then boom, and then Twitch wasn't, and then Mixer wasn't a thing anymore. But Ninja has signed an exclusive contract with Twitch for streaming. The one difference about streaming services and their contracts compared to other athletes, emphasis on other athletes, Tim, if you're listening, to other athletes, is that it's not public information how much they made. I'd love to see that number.
Interesting.
It's definitely in the millions when you're having hundreds of thousands of people watch you stream every single time.
Millions.
I mean, you're talking about, in a way, selling out 3 stadiums.
Yeah.
For every single
Why do people
broadcast.
sit there and watch people play video games?
It's the new, why do people
No,
sit
but why
there
do you
and watch
pay
people
to
play
watch it?
tennis?
Well, not everyone pays to do it.
It can be free.
It can be free.
It can be free. Now, you won't have any shout-outs if you're just mooching.
Yeah.
Remember that. Follow me, Paleo Gaming. You won't have any shout-outs if you're just mooching. But but that is also huge news in the esports world that Ninja's making his return to Twitch. He's actually, since Mixer went out, took a bit of a break from streaming at all. And so he's going back to full-time streaming.
Yeah, he just missed a big opportunity if he just took a break for the last.
Oh, it wasn't that long.
Oh.
It was
He's like, I know, I got to get back in there.
A few months. It was a couple
Mixer?
months.
Didn't it go like a month ago?
Oh, no. Mixer's been gone a while now, man. Mixer's been gone a few months now. But I will say that, would love to have Ninja on the show.
Oh.
But it's not his contract with Mixer and his contract with Twitch before Mixer. He's not exactly struggling during those few months.
I think
probably,
someone said he's made maybe $600,000 a month.
while not streaming.
Oh, he probably makes more.
Yeah.
He makes
Maybe
millions.
he did that as a kid.
I think 18, 19, he was in the tens of millions per year.
Yeah, he makes millions.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
disgusting.
He was he
I'm gonna get on Twitch.
I mean,
Peg leg 2. I'm Peg leg 2.
Leg 2.
He's like on. I mean, he
That's
was on the front cover of
disgusting.
ESPN, and he's big.
Well,
time.
where's he donating to charities and helping out the?
Well,
I don't know. He probably does a lot.
by no means should we go off and say that he's not.
Yeah.
I'm not educated enough on that. I'll figure it out. I guarantee you
That's
he has
important.
charities. I guarantee you he has charities, but I just don't know that information. So I
Matt
don't want to act like
LeBlanc
he's not.
says that his contract buyout was like $25 million.
From
Oh my
Twitch to
God.
Mixer. So imagine, so Mixer paid Twitch $25 million to acquire him. Imagine how much they were paying Ninja.
Yeah, it's
Probably
crazy.
at least that much a year
Yeah.
to stream. So I mean,
Wow.
huge news in the gaming
Yeah.
community that Ninja is returning to Twitch. That is your peg leg esports update on severe lack of talent this week.
All right. Well, Tim, I know you watched this whole thing. Tim will be back with us next week. It was a good show. It was a good run. Just us three, the
Amigos.
tremendous trio.
Yeah.
Well, I'm Robbie Perry,
I'm Devlin Riley.
Nick Hall
and we will see you guys next week.
on the bench.
Oh, yes. Before we leave, and something totally turning a serious note. Today is September 11th, and I just want to, all the heroes that are still in, the services today, and also all the ones that we lost on September 11th, 2001, and all the lives, we will never ever forget. Today. I was reading something yesterday that thousands of people went to bed knowing that they were just going another day to work, and that, obviously their lives were changed, and tens of thousands and millions of lives were changed. So, obviously thoughts and prayers with everyone still to this day, and people that are still struggling with it. There are bills in New York City trying to get passed because people are dying of cancer from all the dying of cancer from all the
Was it asbestos? But it was the
Well, it's just
the ash.
yeah,
and
and the,
so
the
much.
chemicals.
the
that were, yeah.
famous picture of the one businessman who was, had blood over, and famous picture on the streets of New York. He passed away this year from cancer because of that. So, we want to say we will never forget. We think about you guys every day still.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
A moment of unity for us.
Yeah,
For sure.
Thank you from the entire Severe Lack of Talent team. I can tell you right now, Tim also shares those sentiments. He's not with us specifically today.
Yeah.
But thank you for all of our first responders and what you guys are doing out there all over the country.
Absolutely.
And then in New York, obviously, what happened just what seems like forever ago, but such a short time ago as well.
Yeah.
So thank you guys for everything that you guys do for us and keeping us safe and giving us the ability to do things like this right here.
Absolutely. Much love.
All right. We'll see you soon on the bench, guys.